All right, so let's go ahead and get this started. Please join me and welcome you to the stage, our new CMO and our creative marketing leader, Stefan! Yeah!
Thank you, Ron. So as much as those shoes look great on Ron, Tim, if you go to the Netherlands, please save your money. So thank you guys for coming and for giving up 2 days of your valuable time. Hopefully this will be really worthwhile for you, and you'll learn a lot about marketing, about me, and about really where we're headed going forward. I just plan to talk a little bit, just a few words to you so you get to know me a little bit better, and I promise to be done by the time the World Cup starts at 1 o'clock. There you go. Doesn't mean you could watch it, it just means I'll be done. So really, I do want to just talk a little bit about me so you guys get to know me and really who I am, my style, how I'm thinking about things, what I've heard. Then I want to talk about us as a team and really how we're going to work together and what the path looks like going forward for us. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the business and the brand and how I've been just thinking about it at a very high level where I think we need to head. Okay, is that a good agenda? Just a little bit about me. I think I talked about this when we were together at the Just Ask session. But I'm born and bred New Yorker. I grew up in the Northeast. In fact, I've lived my whole life in the Northeast. I grew up in New York, moved to Connecticut, moved up to Massachusetts, and I swore that was it in terms of how much north I would go. And I'm not sure where I am right here, if I'm north or south, but it's probably pretty close. I've been married for 24 years, and I have 3 boys. Which has been very fun and very challenging. 2 of them are out with me this summer. One of them just graduated from college, so he came out for the weekend and then he headed back to his life. I started out in management consulting in my career after business school, and I went to business school at NYU in New York. And I went into management consulting because I really didn't know what I wanted to do from a career standpoint. And it gave me the experience to learn a lot about what I'm good at, what I like to do, work for a number of different industries, and I really locked in on marketing. And I decided way back when, it was 1991, I think, that I said, you know what, marketing's for me. And I really wanted to be a marketer because I thought, A, you have to work for 40 years, why not do something that's fun? And B, marketing really, to me, I viewed marketing as the driver of business. And I wanted to be at the hub of the wheel. I wanted to be in a role that I thought could really drive what companies do. So I literally asked the people at McKinsey & Company, I said, if you were going to work for a great marketing company, who would you work for? And they all said, go apply to Pepsi. So I just wrote a letter, a random letter to someone at HR and said, you know, I've been working at McKinsey, I really like marketing, I want to come work for your company. And I got this letter back. I was shocked. And that was it. You know, I got the letter back, I interviewed there, and I've been in marketing ever since. And I've had the real privilege of working on some great brands. So I've worked on Pepsi, I worked on the Gillette brand, which was one of my favorite jobs of all time, the quintessential male brand, did a lot of sports marketing. I went from there to Staples, which is the world's biggest office products company. It's a $25 billion company, and I led marketing globally. And now I get the honor and privilege of working for Intel, a $53 billion massive company with just an amazing brand and an amazing culture and an amazing talented people. So I thank you guys for giving me this opportunity and just wanted to give you a little bit about my history and where I've come from. Really, I'm responsible, when you cut through it all, I'm responsible for 3 things. My job is to reposition the brand, and it's really reposition the brand and the company. My job is really it's to protect the company's image and really help people think about Intel in a different way. So we're equated with PCs. PCs are our legacy. We sell a whole lot of them. We make a lot of money, but PCs aren't our future. You look at all the things that we're doing, we're expanding into the Internet of Things, into the wearable market, smartphones, tablets, all these new product categories. That's our future. I need to change perceptions of how people think about Intel. Not so much about our past, but where we're going and how to think about our company for the 21st century. As part of that, our job is not only to just reposition how people think about the company, it's to grow demand and sales for product categories outside of our core. Our core is great, and it's a huge cash generator for the business and a huge profit generator. So we don't really need to focus too much on that, and I'm not saying ignore it, but really we need to focus our energies on how do we get people to recognize that Intel sells products beyond our core, and how do we get people to actively look for and want to pay more for products with Intel inside beyond our core categories. So that's really a real charge of ours and a real charge of mine, is how do we get people to rethink the company and create demand for categories outside of our core. And then the third thing is, while we've had just an amazing amount of success, we've built this company to be $53 billion in sales, marketing today is very different from marketing a year ago, is very different from marketing 5 years ago, and it's very different from what marketing will be like a year or 2 years from now. So we need to stay on top of trends. We need to make sure that we understand what's working and what's not, what our competitors are doing, how our customers are interacting with marketing messages. We need to constantly stay on the pulse of what marketing is and how do we move forward with marketing. How do we move ourselves to be a leading global marketing company and do things that other companies aspire to do? So our job is to not, status quo, staying still is not going to get us to where we need to be. We need to really think about how do we leapfrog others? How do we move marketing forward here? So it's really repositioning marketing at Intel for the 21st century. And then finally, my real core responsibility, and I put it last, but it's probably my number one, is to help you all make a difference. It's to help you guys be successful. My job really is just to lead through all of you. It's to help you guys become better marketers. It's to help you guys make a bigger impact on the company. It's to help you guys accomplish all these things, repositioning the brand, growing categories beyond our core, and moving marketing into the 21st century. My job is to support you. So we had this, at Pepsi, we used to have this pyramid. The typical org chart has the CEO on top of the pyramid and all the people at the bottom, right? We actually inverted it, and we called it the right side up company, where the CEO and all the executives were on the bottom of the pyramid. We literally flipped the pyramid over, and all the workers and the people that were closest to the customer were on top. Because I get it. My job is really just to enable you guys to deliver great marketing programs to our customers. Just want to talk a little bit about my beliefs. I really do, and I met with David Ginsburg's team yesterday, and just if you guys, Don I know is here, if any of you other guys are here out in Santa Clara, I really do believe that, I really believe in the power of customer centricity. And we cannot be effective as marketers unless we really are solving a customer need, unless we really base our decisions and marketing programs on customer insights. The customer should be at the center of everything that we do. Every decision that we make, every action that we take, and every marketing program that we design has got to revolve around what our customers want and need, and how can we deliver a better experience or better value to our customers. I really believe in the power of simplicity. I think marketing today is just too complex. People are getting bombarded with too many messages. Messages are fragmented, they're not integrated, they're not consistent. There's so many things coming at people that we really need to dumb it down. Consumers will never care as much about our brand as we do. They will never care as much about our products as we do. So when we utilize marketing, we have to make it as simple to understand as possible. We got to take what we want to say and put it in one word. So think about that going forward. How could you take your marketing programs and messages and make them as simple as possible so that the consumer will readily understand and react to it in a positive way? I believe in the power of global. We're a global company, obviously, but do we really act like a global company? Are all our messages and marketing as global as they can be? So going forward, what I'd like to see is for us to just really think more in terms of a global mindset. And that's not to say that we're going to take everything that we do and just deploy it outside of the US. But what it is to say is that how can we take a single idea across the global landscape that's consistent with what our customers are looking for from Intel, and how can we create something here and then adapt it locally? So how could we make our marketing more efficient and more effective by creating global messages that get, again, adapted locally? And if you think about the world today, and I talked about this at the Just Ask, there's no more of, well, Intel Germany could be very different than Intel China could be very different from Intel in Portland, Oregon, right? That's not true, because you could access and experience the brand anywhere just with the click of a mouse at your computer. You can experience Intel on Facebook in every country just from here. You can interact with Intel.com in any country from here. So the fact that there really is the digital economy has created this borderless world, it means that we have to think and act globally. So everything that you do now, if you could just think about how could this be reapplied outside of where I live, I think would be really helpful. The notion of store-back marketing is really important to me, and I learned that at P&G, and basically the premise is very simple. Typically, people work through the consumer funnel by saying, we need to generate awareness, consideration, purchase, and advocacy, right? And the last point that we really think about is what we used to call the first moment of truth, when people actually interact with your product in the store. Truth is, people interact with your product in the store, and you may have them for 3 seconds at most. They're going to pay attention to your message or your product or whatever marketing you're putting out in the store for 3 seconds. So how do you make that? This ties back to my point about simplicity. How do you make what it is you want to say so simple and easy and powerful that they'll actually pick up your product and buy it? And then how do you take that singular idea that you're going to communicate in the store? And by the way, store signage, not so big, right? So you got to be really, really careful in terms of, and choiceful in terms of the words that you choose. How do you take what you may want to say in store and drive that all the way back through the consumer funnel to awareness generating mediums? So people think of it the other way, awareness generating through purchase in store. At P&G, we were taught to take that message that you would put in store and let it work its way all the way back through the funnel. And what that does is it says, okay, it's the simplest message that you can communicate, and it's threaded through the entire funnel and the entire customer journey. So I would just ask you guys to think about that concept and if it makes sense to you. Finally, I'm a brand builder, and I really do believe in the power of brands. Products, essentially, we do have a competitive advantage in terms of performance, although that is getting smaller and smaller. But brands are what creates customer affinity. Brands are what create loyalty. Brands are what bonds people to your products. Think about the brands that you guys like most. Just think in your mind about what brands do you guys buy most. Do you only buy that brand or product when it's on sale? Your favorite brand? I'll answer for you. I doubt it, right? You guys are allowed to talk. This isn't just one way. Tim, if no one talks, you talk. But my point is that brands really do bond people. So how do we create that affinity? How do we create that bond with our customers where people will just want to actively choose Intel over anything else? Never even have blinders on, never look for any other product, never be guided by price. But how do we create the notion that Intel products are the best products and that they help people have better experiences and that they're going to actively walk into the store and look for our label, right? Look for Intel inside. That's where we got to get to. Just a little bit about my style. I talked about, and I made the joke about, I have an open door style, and literally I do have an open door with a cube. But it is true. Honestly, when you guys see me, it means you should come talk to me. It means I am always available to you. Again, my job is to enable you guys to be successful. So don't be shy, don't be afraid, come and talk to me. I'm here for you guys, and I really, really mean that. And there's been a lot of people sending me emails, and people have been stopping by, but anytime that you see me, it means I'm open for business for you guys. So I really do mean that. Those who have met with me over the past few weeks will know that I'm really transparent. I actually can't lie. So I can, but I try not to. But I'm just very, very honest and transparent and straightforward. And if I can't tell you the answer, I'll tell you I can't tell you it. But if I can, I'll tell you what the truth is. And I try to tell you when things are great, and I'll try to tell you when I think things need to improve in a way that is not it's not negative, but will help you guys understand why it may not work as well as you think and how to make it better. But you could always count on me on just being very, very honest and open. Okay, so that's something that I hope you will come to value. Third is I really do value differences of opinion. I think operating in a global company is amazing because you do get people from different cultures and really the diversity of thinking. And I think it's really critical for us to be success. One size fits all. One person is not always right? I'm definitely not always right. In fact, my last point is, I'm wrong a lot, but I'm never uncertain. And I say that because I think it is important for people to take a stand and for people to debate and for people to express their opinions. You may not always get your way and you may not always be right, but I think diversity of thinking and opinions are really, really valuable in terms of marketing decision making. And then just one more second on my last point is, I do think we need to make decisions and move on. And there comes a point in the process where you can always keep on getting more information and gather more and more data, but at some point there's a balance between facts and gut and instinct. So at some point I would just ask you guys to move on in the process and not paralyze yourself with getting more data and trying to minimize risk. again, you may not always make the right decisions, and I'll never really fault you guys for making the wrong ones. I will fault you for making the wrong ones over and over and over again, but making bad decisions is how we all learn, and sometimes you got to just move forward and make decisions. So I commit to you guys that I won't fester on decisions. I'll make them. I won't. Sometimes I may need to take a step back and think about it, but I'm not going to let things drag on forever, and I hope that you guys don't either. Again, don't always rely on me or your manager to make decisions. Take responsibility and make them yourselves, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. I want to talk about us now. So just in my last 6 weeks, I've heard from a lot of you, and really what I heard were three themes. The first is that everyone does really believe in the power of brand, as I do, and they really believe that the brand is critical for our future success. But people also believe that we've neglected our brand, that we haven't invested in it enough, that we haven't created that bond, that emotional connection that we need to. And what we've seen in our data is that brand equity is eroding. And I always say momentum is a really powerful force. Positive momentum is a powerful positive force, and negative momentum is a negative powerful force. And right now we have negative brand momentum. So we need to change the trajectory of our brand equity trends. You guys told me, and Ron said it, that he said a lot of things about loving his job, but he loves the company, and you can see it in his passion. And you all told me that you love this company, that we have an amazing brand, we have an amazingly well-respected company, amazing profit generator, but how we operate may not be optimized, that we're a bit siloed. And we're siloed, what I heard from you guys was we're siloed actually within the marketing organization to some extent, that we're not working together as well as we possibly can, and that we're siloed with our business partners, whether it's the product groups or the geographies. For whatever reason, people have operated a little bit more independently than we probably need to going forward. You also told me that when I came here, it was funny because all I hear was, we don't have enough marketing money. And we have a lot of marketing money. We may not have as much as we actually need, but we have a lot of marketing money. But what we have is a really fragmented spend, is what you guys have told me and showed me, that we carve up our money in a lot of different buckets. And we're not really being as choiceful as possible and investing enough to drive success. So maybe we need to take a step back and look at what are our key priorities and invest sufficiently to drive those priorities successfully versus spending against every initiative that all of our business partners want us to. So the point is sometimes we need to say no. We can't do everything that we're asked to, otherwise we won't have enough money and our spend will be too fragmented. You guys told me that creative excellence is really key, and that will help make that connection, that will help stand out in a very cluttered and noisy world. But what you also told me is that our quality is inconsistent. Sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not so great. So how do we raise the bar and have consistently great quality in terms of creative and customer-facing communications? And then you also told me that we're integration challenged. This is similar to silos. Silos, though, are about how we're structured and how we work together. Integration is that message from store back. It's following up on the store back marketing. How do we create one message that is consistently reinforced at every single touch point and every interaction with our customers? So how do we make sure that we have that one singular idea? A lot of it is process improvement. So I know today, as an example, that we do the in-store point-of-sale merchandising way before we do either digital or TV. And sometimes the in-store merchandising will have different messages than what the TV or the digital has. So we need to change that. We need to figure out how do we align the timelines and back up, maybe move up digital and TV to align with the point of sale, or maybe slide the point of sale forward a couple of weeks, so that we have one singular communication idea that's driven through every single consumer touch point. So if I'm a consumer, and if you think about the consumer journey, everywhere I turn in a key initiative, I'm going to see the same message being reinforced versus seeing different messages everywhere I turn because of us, because we develop them at different times. That's not optimal. So we have to figure out how do we really drive integration. How do we get all of our people briefed at the same time, whether it's our internal folks or our external agencies? How do we get our agencies to work together? So we just met with our media agency, and I asked them, how many times have you sat with the TV advertising agency together? And they couldn't even answer the question. So it's our job, not their job, it's our job to get people to work together and be integrated. when I first started, we asked a question. We said, name one word that you want Intel marketing to be going forward. And here's what you guys told me. So you see the bigger words are the more popular responses: inspiring, disruptive, the idea of global, which is what I've been talking about, which is global ideas that get adapted locally. You wanted us to be world-class, relevant, trend-setting, respected. So the point is, I didn't just do this exercise just to hear what you wanted to say. We're actually going to use these, and I think I'll show you how we're going to make our marketing more inspiring, disruptive, global, world-class, relevant. So I talked a lot about my responsibility. Now I want to talk about our role collectively. So our role is to build the brand, as I talked about. Our role is to build the business, which I also talked about. Our role is to develop great work. So I talked about raising the creative bar. Our role is to be accountable for results. And results aren't one-dimensional. Results aren't necessarily just to sell X number of units. Results could be all the things we talked about: building the brand. Results could be about developing great work. Results could be about building the business and selling stuff. Whatever it is, we need to really define the objectives for our specific initiatives and then hold ourselves accountable for those results. And I think you've been doing a really good job of that. I sat in a fit session last week, and I saw that we actually do measure everything, and I was really, really impressed by that. So let's just make sure that we continually measure, but we also learn from the measurement. What's not working, let's understand why it's not working and change. What is working, let's keep on doing it. We need to be great partners. Not only great partners to our business partners, like the product groups or the geographies or the agencies that we work with. We need to be great partners to ourselves. So we are one marketing organization. We need to support each other, right? We're one team. We need to act and operate like one team. So let's always support each other. You may not always agree with everything that your counterpart is doing, and that's okay. But once a decision is made, we have to align to that decision and be one team and operate as one team. And then finally, I talked a lot about globalization, but I think it's collectively our job to share and reapply across business units and across geographies. It won't happen automatically. It just won't happen by itself. People won't actively seek out stuff that we're doing and say, oh, I could use that. So we have to create a process that helps us actively share and reapply across business units and geographies. So my expectations of you guys, I talked about this just before, is to collaborate and act as one team, okay? Support each other. I do want you guys to think big and bold. Status quo is not okay, right? Status quo is flat, right? Do we want to have no growth? No. So we need to take risks. We need to think bigger and bolder. We need to demand more for our partners. We spend a lot of money with a lot of agencies. Are we making sure, are we challenging them to be the best that they can be at every single interaction with them? I ask you guys to think about that. I talked about supporting the decisions and creating strong performance. And then this idea, I call it progress over perfection. I think you guys know it as something else: fast beats perfect. So it's the same idea, but again, it's about making decisions and moving forward without dotting every I and crossing every T. Get it to a point that good is good enough, and then move on, okay? So don't fester. We have to move quicker. We have to act with more of a sense of urgency. And then finally, my last point is exactly why I started in marketing 25 years ago. Marketing should be fun. We all chose it for a career because it's fun, right? So let's have a good time. Let's do things that move our brand and our business forward. Let's enjoy what we're doing every day. Let's challenge ourselves to do better. Let's challenge our partners. But really, I want you guys to enjoy it. And someone in my last job said to me, if she doesn't come into work and laugh every day, then it was a bad day. So I don't know if we could laugh as much as Ron. So we should only aspire to laugh as much as Ron. But I do want you guys to have fun. Marketing should be fun. So I'll ask you guys, are you in?
Yeah! Woo!
Did everyone respond? Because if you didn't, all right, I'll take it that everyone responded. Santa Clara, I didn't hear you, but I'll trust you. Just a couple slides on our path forward. So I talked before about how we've neglected our brand. And Steve Jobs had this famous speech that he gave at Stanford University in 1986 or something like that. And he started out by saying that even great brands need investment and caring, right? And he said the Apple brand has suffered from neglect. And I think you can say the same thing about the Intel brand. We have an amazing brand with amazing equity and an amazing point of difference. But If you don't invest in it and you don't nurture it and you don't take care of it, you neglect it. And when you neglect it, it's like your lawn, right? Who here doesn't take care of their lawn? It gets brown, right? And it gets lots of weeds. And it's the same thing with a great brand. You need to nurture it, and otherwise it erodes. And this chart just shows, it's just one question that we track. It says unaided awareness of leading technology brands. So you ask consumers and you say, name brands that you think are leading technology brands. And you can see that just in the past 4 years, the percentage of people that named Intel on an unaided basis has declined pretty dramatically, both internationally and in the US. Not a good trend. This is brand Z. So this is done by Millward Brown, which is a very reputable research company. And this is a consumer measure of brand strength. There's other companies out there like Interbrand that measure the financial performance and the financial measure of brand strength. This is about consumer perception of brand strength. And at the top, you can see Apple and Google have stayed, and this is rank order. So the left, the vertical axis is the rank. So you could see Google and Apple have been in the top 10 for the last 8 years, right? Very little movement. You could see us, in 2006, we were, I don't know, 14, 15 or something like that, and now we're 90. Is anyone happy with that? No. No. Neither am I. So we need to reverse this trend, right? And y'all may be saying, well, who cares? What's this guy talking about? I don't really care. It's not that important. But it is important. And it's important to create that bond, to create growth, to create the affinity for the brand. But it's also important for our stock price. So those numbers on the left, it shows over this 8-year period of time, the Apple stock has gone up 6.9x. 2006 to 2014, 7 times growth. You can see that Google has gone up 2.5 times across that same period. And you see Intel has gone up 1.2 times over that 8-year period. So that's why you should care, right? Because it matters. It matters in every aspect, and it certainly matters to how people value our company. So winding down here. So we have a tremendous amount of strengths to build on. So I feel really confident that we will be successful going forward. We do have a product performance advantage. We have better performing products. That's an awesome thing. We have tremendous brand equity. People think of the Intel brand in the same way across the globe. That's an amazingly powerful thing for us to build on. We stand for performance, innovation, and trust, and I'll show you that chart in a minute. Everywhere. Everyone thinks those are our core equities across the globe. That is so powerful to build a global brand that consumers value and think of your brand in the same way everywhere. We have incredible scale. We're a $53 billion company. How many companies in the US are bigger than that? Is it 1,000 bigger? 100 bigger? 50 bigger? What do you guys think? 50. It's pretty amazing. Out of all the companies in the US, only 50 are bigger than us. Pretty amazing, right? And that's in terms of sales. Actually, if you look at it in terms of profit, we're way higher than that. We make $12 billion a year in profit. So we have a tremendous amount of scale to do what we think will help us win in the marketplace. We have great partnerships, not only with our OEM partners that we sell to, but our retailers, our agencies. We have amazing partnerships out there that we need to leverage and drive harder. And everyone wants to work with us. We're looking at now repositioning the brand, and there's not one agency out there who wouldn't die. Maybe one, Becky. There's not one agency out there that wouldn't die to work with us. So we have something that people want. We have such a brand of stature, and the opportunity to reposition, revitalize, and transform a brand of our size is an opportunity that doesn't come along that often. And we have great people, you all. We have such amazing knowledge here, and tenure, and expertise. That's the cornerstone of success. All these things, but the people is probably the one thing that will really, I know, make us successful. So we talked about people thinking of us in terms of innovation, performance, and trust. I think, without presuming what the answer is, I think our brand promise is pretty simple. And we need to prove this out, but I think it's pretty simple. I think it's the idea that having Intel inside helps our devices work better, which helps you work better. I think it's that simple. And I think we need to reinforce that notion everywhere, at every touch point. But again, it's not important necessarily to reinforce that notion by saying, we help PCs make better, which helps work better, which helps you work better. We help all these other products that are part of your daily life work better to help you work better in the way that you live your life. So again, moving beyond the PCs. So finally, this is my last slide. The path forward for us. It's again really those three things that we're all accountable for. Repositioning the brand, growing categories outside of our core, and changing marketing for the 21st century. It's really those three things. If you're just guided and driven every day by those three things, I think we'll all be really, really successful. And just the last point, which is bolded, is about strengthening global creative. So I came into this process, these new TV ads late, but I think the team has done just an amazing job in developing really, really strong creative. And watch these carefully, because I think what you'll see is the product threaded throughout the entire story. So it's the storyline advertising that we've been doing for a little bit, but the product is such an integral part of the story. I think it works really, really well. These are not quite done, so the 90 for the 10, but take a look.
Some people think coaching is all strategy, but every coach knows strategy. You've got to find an edge wherever you can, and this is mine. This Intel-based tablet does anything I need, precisely when I need it. When you got a whole team depending on your split-second reaction, performance matters. This Intel processor helps win championships.
I was going to say it is okay to clap. I was going to say. And again, most of the team was behind me. I hope they appreciated that. And here's just the second ad. This one's about a 2-in-1.
The imagination is a powerful thing. My 2-in-1 helps me unlock it. It's a laptop when I'm a writer, and a tablet when I'm an illustrator. Creativity comes in many forms, and this Intel processor lets me adapt to it.
There you go. So I just want to thank you guys for listening to me, for putting up with me, for bearing with me. I think this is the start of a great journey together, so I really, really appreciate it.